Hello and good morning. It is Writing Wednesday. I'm glad that you are here. If you're watching this in the replay, welcome. We're going to be talking about opinion essays and how we can not just restate the opinion, but how do we actually support our opinion with examples? And we're going to look at a bunch of examples of how we can do that and then give you some suggestions about what you can write about. So let's dive right in, get started. I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. All right. So on your screen, you should see the characteristics of an opinion essay and what we're going to be talking about today. Reasons that support your opinion. We don't just want to restate it. Now, an example of that is, here's a super simple example, just so we get the idea. Bananas are the best fruit because bananas are the best fruit. It just is restating the opinion. And perhaps you have read an essay or done an essay where you have stated your opinion and then you have proceeded to state your opinion again. You didn't have solid examples and it just didn't go anywhere. It wasn't supported. Instead, perhaps bananas are the best fruit because of their flavor, nutritional value, and convenience. So now we're supporting this idea that bananas are the best fruit. We're giving some reasons, some examples, and then in the rest of the essay, you could go on to expound on those rather than just keep saying bananas are the best fruit over and over. You would lose your reader very quickly. Now I have some examples today, 3 examples, and I'm using opinion pieces from the New York Times. And I invite you, the membership for the New York Times is super cheap, and you can find articles there, and you can find opinion pieces there. And whether or not you agree with the opinion doesn't really matter. But in order for people to be published in the New York Times, they have to know what they're doing as a writer and be able to write well. So it's a good way to check out some writing, and then you can use it as a model for your own. Like I said, whether you agree with the opinion or not is beside the point. What we're looking at is, does the author just restate the opinion, or is the author supporting that opinion with other examples? So I'm going to share that article. Here we go. And so here I am on the New York Times page. Will robots really destroy the future of work? So we know right away what the essay is going to be talking about. And we're on a hunt to see, did they just restate it? Their opinion first. What is their opinion? We're going to find out. And then how are they supporting it? So we're not going to take the time to read the whole article. We're just going to pick bits and pieces and skim it to see where have they supported their opinion. Some people on the political right love robots and hate labor unions. Some people on the political left are the opposite. They hate robots and love labor unions. Then there's David Otter, a labor economist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He loves both. Okay, so right away he's setting up what the 2 sides are, and I'm expecting that he's going to tell us about both sides. And not just restate that, but also give examples. So let's see if he gives some examples. Automation will destroy some jobs, but also make workers who aren't displaced more productive, raise overall income, and create new kinds of jobs. So labor unions have been beaten down. So now he's giving some example here. Can ensure that the gains from automation don't accrue only to the wealthy. So he keeps going. If we keep going in this essay, here we go. On the robot-loving side, Archer argues that the technology will be highly useful and inevitable. So he keeps talking about what this guy is saying. Tech has to be properly harnessed. He's going to use some examples here. The problem today, so what is the problem today, is not the lack of jobs, it's the lack of good jobs. Now, is he just going to keep saying that, or is he going to support that? Some economists figure this is a problem that will solve itself, and then it keeps going, that the market will solve this problem, even though it hasn't done so for the last 4 decades. So he is supporting that argument. Here we go. If you keep going through, you can just keep skimming and looking for, here we go, one point of alignment between Preston and Archer is that workers need training so they can use automation, not be replaced by it. We are underinvesting in our people. So now let's see if the author is going to support that. Oh, that's the end of the article. Sorry, talking about numbers of the week. So he told both sides, and then is ending with this, there's one place where they are coming together. All right. So I invite you to look at the New York Times opinion pieces and see where there are places where things are supported. Let's look at another one here. The most valuable thing I can teach my kid is how to be lazy. Okay, you've got me intrigued. The title is good. We have an opinion. And again, we're looking for the opinion to be not just stated. So his opinion is the most valuable thing I can teach my kid is how to be lazy. So I'm hoping that there's lots of support for that opinion. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be interesting. So I'm going to share that article with you. Here we go. The most valuable thing I can teach my kid is how to be lazy. So right away, he starts off with a story so that we know a little bit of the background. Turns out the gentleman who's writing the article, he has wears a sleep apnea mask. He has got chronic fatigue. He has lupus. So we see what the setup is. And then he introduces his fear. Before my child was born, I was afraid, so we're right here, that my fatigue would make it impossible for me to be a good parent. Then he expands, and it's true, I'm often juggling parenting needs and exhaustion. We can relate. But then he expands. What I didn't anticipate is that prioritizing rest, sleep, and dreaming is also something tangible I can offer my child. As a reader, I am waiting for him to give me examples. Don't just state the opinion, but also support it. And let's see if he does this. He sees me napping every day and wants in. There's an example, and then he's going to elaborate. We build elaborate nests and gaze out the window together. And he keeps talking about this. Keeps expanding. America in 2022 is an exhausting place to live. Also, these are things that we can relate to as the reader. So he's drawing us in, using examples, and supporting his opinion. Pretty much everyone I know is tired. And then he's going to expand. We're tired of answering work emails after dinner. We're tired of caring for senior family members. And he goes on all of these things that we're tired of, supporting his opinion. And then he gives some numbers. Increasing numbers of people are refusing to push through this mounting weariness. There are currently 10 million job openings in the United States, up from 6.4 million before the pandemic. So again, supporting his idea that the most valuable thing you can teach your kid is how to be lazy. So let's see. He keeps going on. Shunning laziness is integral to the American dream. So then he is going to talk about the Puritans. So examples of people who aren't lazy, who shunned laziness. And then talking about that view in our culture. And then bringing it to post-pandemic future. We will still be living on a fragile, warming planet with increasing climate disruptions. It's urgent that we find ways to work less. So he's giving some exhortation, what to do next. And he's talking about things that are current, that we know and understand. And whether you agree or disagree with the opinion, read it with an open mind, looking for how the author is supporting their opinion. Then I thought this was interesting. Laziness is more than the absence or avoidance of work. It's also the enjoyment of lazing in the sun or in another's arms. And then he's talking about how he, through his work at a hospice, started enjoying those moments. As the future becomes more tenuous, I want to teach my child to enjoy the planet right now. And then he gives some examples. So you're seeing this pattern. We make a statement, support it with examples. Make another statement, support it with examples. But all of the statements tie into the central theme of the essay. Let's have a look at one more, and you can go ahead and read these in full. Enjoy the essay. How I freed up time to daydream. Okay, another opinion. Another opinion. There's a whole genre of articles in which writers like me leave social media to report on how their lives transformed. I swore I wouldn't add to it. I swore that if I went off Twitter or other social media, I would not write about it. This is engaging right away because obviously she's writing about it. But it gives some idea of this struggle. But here I am writing about it. I'm doing so because it didn't change my life in quite the way that I expected, or many of these essays promised it would. So right away we know, we're going to find out how it changed her life. So I'm expecting to see some examples, some reasons and support for those. Not just restating over and over that, oh, it didn't change my life in the way I expected. Oh, it didn't change my life in the way I expected. So here we go. She enjoyed Twitter. The problem was she loved it a little too much. Now, that statement is then she's going to support that statement. I'd find myself checking it when I should be working, running late to my daughter's school events because I tried to fit in a quick peek or staying up far too late, surfing vast oceans of information. Tired and barely interested, but unable to resist the glowing undertow pulling me in. And I think we can relate. So not only has she given an example, but it's something that as the reader reading this, you can probably relate to. Then she talks about how her friends encouraged her to drop her Twitter habit. So she blocked Twitter. And how did that even work? Well, a colleague tweets articles that she writes. So she's present there, or her brand is present there, but she's not there. So now she's been off for 2 months. Now, here we go. This is the part of the Getting Off Social Media Changed My Life essay, where I say I've discovered Zen-like quiet and peace, how I started exercising, lost 5 pounds, found new focus and freedom from anxiety. But that did not happen. Not yet, anyway. So now I'm intrigued. So as you put a statement out there, you intrigue the reader, and then you need to support that. Reasons and examples. Again, she is saying it didn't make her life a bastion of meditative bliss because she still has all the stuff. The kids, the job, the church, the spouse, the messy house, all of the stuff. So I'm going, okay. I still freebase distraction in ways that are compulsive and foolish. So now she's telling us, expanding on that, now she's wasting time on Zillow, but she's giving an example. And then, but there is one way that leaving Twitter has benefited my life and mind. Makes a statement. Now let's see how it is supported. The times when I checked Twitter were often the transition points in my day. Now, let's see if she supports that. When I sat down to work, or I finished a task, waiting at a light, or in line, or to pick up my kids from school, going to the bathroom, the few minutes before I fell asleep, freeing up those small, seemingly inconsequential moments has been transformative. All right. Now, how? Let's see if she gives some example. These moments of quiet and emptiness throughout the day are nothing I really considered before. I don't schedule them in my calendar, and I don't notice their departure when I began going online. I didn't notice their departure when I began going online. But leaving these small moments of my day unfilled changed how I walk through time. And she goes on to give examples. So you can see how, let me get back here. You can see how you can state your opinion, but then you need to support it with examples. And when you make that statement, you're intriguing the reader, pulling them along, making them want to read. But then you better have some examples that support, some reasons for what you just said. And those are going to engage the reader and keep them going till you make your next statement. And like the other essays, all of the things about social media and Twitter that she was talking about, they all tied together to her main point that, yes, things changed when she went off of Twitter, but not as she expected. So it's all tied together cohesively. I think if you look at opinion essays, you will start to see how you can use those examples in your own writing. Follow those methods. So, characteristics of an opinion essay. We want reasons to support your opinion and not restate it, like we were talking about today. We need reasons that are logical, objective, based on facts, evidence, observation, or experience. And those things were in those essays as well. Provided all the major reasons and they are understandable to the reader. That's what I was talking about when it's drawing you in. It's connecting with you as the reader. Organization. There's different ways of organizing essays. Chronological, enumerative, climactic, simple to complex, or problem and solution. On another tutorial, we will talk about the different ways we can organize our opinion essay. And the opinion is broad enough to require support, but narrow enough to support the length required. So you notice the length of the essay. You need far more reasons and examples for an essay for the New York Times than you do for an IELTS test or for a 500-word paper. So you can expand and contract this idea of giving your reasons and supporting them. If you have a short essay, you might only have 2 reasons and support. If you have a longer essay, you notice there was reason after reason after reason, and it just kept building and they were all supported. So depending on your word count requirement. So the reasons support your opinion, not restate it. Now it's your turn. Here are some ideas for essays. What about this? Chocolate is good for brain activity. What's your opinion? What do you think? You could come up with some reasons and then examples to support them. Journaling has a positive effect on one's emotional state. Do you agree? Disagree? What's your opinion? Again, the opinion isn't necessarily the thing that matters most. Maybe you say, I don't care one way or the other. Then choose an opinion and see if you can find some solid reasons that connect with your reader and ways to support them. Finally, does reading books improve academic abilities? What do you think? Is there proof one way or the other? Can you provide that proof to support your argument? So there's a couple essay writing ideas for you for this week. Chocolate is good for brain activity. Journaling has a positive effect on one's emotional state. And does reading books improve academic abilities? Write your essay and submit it for feedback. If I get essays for review, we will be reviewing them during this time. You can submit your essays at learn.summitwriting.net/essay-review. And that's it for today. I hope you will join me next week when we will be once again discussing opinion essays.